Dirty Truth Tellers.
So good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're Epstein and Hassan, the Dirty Truth Tellers. And tonight we are very excited because we have a wonderful special guest, Lezlie Harrison.
Yes.
But before we bring Lezlie on, I do want to say that since we are the Dirty Truth Tellers, I'm going to tell you the truth. Now, most people wouldn't actually tell what happened, but we haven't seen Lezlie Harrison in probably 8 to 10 years.
At least.
Then last Wednesday night, we recorded a show with Lezlie Harrison, the same show that we're doing again, because aside from the fact that it probably was the funniest and most brilliant show that was ever done in the history of shows, going back to when people first started doing shows, this was a masterpiece of a show. It was brilliant. Lezlie was great.
Just say it.
And I'm just going to say it. My wonderful, talented wife of 35 years, the beautiful Naima Hassan, forgot to record the show.
I forgot to press the record.
She didn't press the record button. Now, I don't want you to think, knowing Naima, that was just going to be it. She contacted Zoom. She contacted.
I was on the phone with Zoom for like that whole night.
Trying to find out.
Everyone that I know, I called.
Who's computer savvy.
Anyone.
She tried to really bring this back, but we couldn't do it. So then part two comes in, because now, as a husband and a wife, because we're not just a comedy team, she's really upset because she feels like this is her responsibility and that I was going to blame her, which of course
did.
I did. I did it relentlessly.
Yeah,
I brought up every level of Jewish guilt possible. Jews, Catholics. No one ever laid guilt on.
Yes.
And then we had this really shocking thing. We said, you know what? We got to tell Lezlie. We got to tell Lezlie.
And that for me was just
that
like,
was so hard.
Oh my God.
Because Lezlie turned into our mom in a sense. That was basically what it is.
I did?
Yes,
yeah.
I would have I've loved to have had you as my mom. I would have really.
That's called incest. So shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, but I got carried away there because this is a repeat show. So what we're going to do is we're not going to repeat it word for word. We're going to change a lot of the things, but I just do want people to know that it was a great show. If tonight's show is not as good, please write letters to Naima Hassan.
Well, it just really went into shame about how you're perceived in life. And then when you have to say to someone who you look up to, who you admire, I've screwed up.
Right.
And
I mean, because Lezlie is about the easiest person that I could really imagine telling that to. You know, because Leslie's not going to.
Well, this was not about Lezlie.
This was not about Leslie is not going to beat you up.
Yeah,
but
well, let's bring her on. And
we're going to bring her on. But before we do that, there's one other thing I do want to say, because this also brought up, you know, we're practicing Buddhists. So we practice Buddhism for the last 20 years. We meditate lots, and that's a meditation. So there's this whole theory in Buddhist teachings that all of our suffering comes from our self-cherishing. And this is a perfect example of that. Because the ego basically got involved.
Absolutely.
Like your ego.
Absolutely.
She felt that she had failed.
Embarrassed.
Shamed.
Yeah.
So all those things came rising up. And, you know, because I'm such
to the top.
And because I'm so kind, I've relentlessly mentioned it all week long. Because when she makes a mistake or I make a mistake, the secret to our marriage is that we drive each other into the ground.
Yes.
We torture and humiliate
Okay,
each
so
other.
You've done that. She's got to go do a show.
Yeah, all right.
Don't forget.
So yes, so please welcome Lezlie Harrison.
Well, you know, thank you so much. And Naima, I mean, you know, when Hassan called me, I was actually on my way to a gig and I saw the call, but I was, getting ready, had called the car. And then I'm thinking, oh yeah, I forgot to send the pictures. So I'm thinking like, so while I'm in the car, I said, I'll send the pictures while I'm in the car on my way to the gig. Then I said, let me call. And she was like, Lezlie, I'm like, did somebody die? What? So of course, it's no problem. I know how that goes.
She tried to get me to do it. She even threw out stuff like, "You've known Leslie.
You know Leslie more.
Well,
How much longer?"
your name came up on the phone, and I'm like, yeah, but I bet you it's not.
Oh, no, I was going to make her grovel.
Yes.
But anyway, so Leslie Harrison is.
It's all good.
And I'm going to
Second time around.
Right, second time. You know, the way I always say, if you can get it up that second time, it's often better. It's
the second coming.
Second coming can be better.
Yes,
But something, it's just more work. At my age,
that depends on how long you've been waiting for the second.
At my age, I'm just glad to be alive, more or less. You know, at the end of fucking, I now take my blood.
Glad for the first one.
Yes. So I'm going to read her intro.
I'm going to give her I'm going to read her intro. You go ahead. You can read it.
No, go ahead. No, you want to read it? Go ahead.
When I put my glasses on, I'm official. I'm like Walter fucking Cronkite.
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leslie Harrison is a world famous vocalist. She's an on-air radio host at the world's greatest jazz station, WBGO.
WBGO.
And she has been a hostess at WBGO for many years. Leslie is also the co-founder of the Jazz Gallery. That's a pretty heavy thing in its own right.
Yeah.
You know? I like to comment on each of her things.
Yeah, we know, but we don't have.
She's also an MC, a model, a Buddhist. Now, those are all important things, you know. MC, model, Buddhist.
Well, model Buddhist too.
A model Buddhist.
Yeah. Yes.
But this is the biggest thing.
I know.
For many years, I introduced Leslie Perform at Sweet Rhythm, and I've known Leslie for many years. And I will go on record, and you're very fortunate because I can see them today. This woman has the best shoulders.
Yes.
I did it.
Look at those shoulders.
Yes,
oh my God, they are the best shoulders.
They're like woman's shoulders.
They're like the perfect shoulders. They really
See,
are.
your shoulders did not age. My shit kind of went in and out. It's just like that. Even though
look, I'm only showing you from this part up. You know, from here down, it starts looking a little funky. But
yeah. That shit that hangs.
You know, I'm like, where'd that come from?
That's a very hot look. When a woman's thing has to start dragging like an accordion, that is.
You can't talk about the drip balls.
Oh, my balls now are on the floor. Like as a Jew gets older, their balls hit the floor and their penis
We're
goes
finally equal opportunity when you get older. The balls are right down there.
The whole thing. If we could see photos when we're like in our 20s, we should have probably have that now. Like when you'll be able to see what someone looks like when they're 70.
To decide if you want to stay with them.
Because it's kind of hard to believe that, as you get older, like we're now like fucking as old people. I never thought I would fuck. I never even thought of it. Like,
when you were growing up, right? Like I tried to explain to Steve, my mother's friends, I would call you Miss Leslie. I would have not called you Leslie.
Miss or aunt? Yeah, no, you couldn't. And it was disrespectful. When growing up in the North, I'm a divorced brat. Mm-hmm. So I grew up in New York, but then my parents split and we went to North Carolina. In New York, we didn't say ma'am and all that stuff. I had West Indian grandparents here. You had to call them auntie or uncle, but not miss or ma'am. So we go down south, we're just being, and my grandfather was the preacher. My grandmother was the teacher and the first lady. So, like call somebody, you couldn't just call somebody, hey, Sally, you better put a miss in front of it.
No. And I tried to explain that to him. I had this woman that used to do my hair. She said, well, that doesn't work now because, let's say it's somebody who's an adult and they don't deserve the title of the miss. I said, there's something wrong with that because I knew who was an adult. When you address like Miss Denise or hi, Miss Susie, it was a level.
Puts another level of respect on it, on who you are, because it's like, I'm not your friend.
Yeah, clearly.
That's the different thing about today.
Clearly.
Also today, like in your 60s and your 70s, you can still sort of look good. I mean, it's not like you're gonna.
Yeah.
When my grandmother was dead already when she was 62. She was already dead, and she had been an old woman for like 30 years. When she was 37, she was like an 80-year-old woman. So things have changed. Wow. They definitely have changed.
Yeah,
Leslie.
But I used to be like, I would be like, to my friends' kids, you can call me Leslie. At some point, I'm like, nah. Miss Lezlie or Auntie Lezlie, and that sets us apart because it's not like you can't call me to come in the room and play Legos with you. I mean, you could, and I probably would go, but I'd come quicker if you call me Auntie Lezlie.
If I call you Auntie Lezlie, you'll play Legos with me because that sounds.
I'll play Legos.
Bellevue.
Okay, I'm just asking her a question.
No, Bellevue.
I'd play Wordle with you or crossword. Me and you, we could do crossword puzzles together, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, he can't do
Scrabble.
I remember our great friend James Brown. He's a big pass of what do you call it? Crossword puzzle.
New York Times. Still is.
He's really big on that. He was very good at it as well.
Yeah. So, he did the whole Sunday. He could do the whole
very impressive
puzzle on Sunday. It'd take me like
something new that I'm
noticing. That's what she just mentioned.
Wordle.
Yes.
Wordle.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm not hooked on it, but I don't need one more thing to distract me from what I really need to be doing.
Yeah.
The only crossword puzzle.
An hour of words with friends. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I got about 20 emails I have to return.
I used to do the TV guide crossword puzzle. That was my level.
Oh my God.
OMG, Steve.
I used to look forward to getting the TV guide. I would study that like the Bible. Like it wasn't like today. Like you'd look forward to see what shows were on. They would have an article in there. I was big TV guy.
Oh, it's too much on TV now. It's too much.
Absolutely.
So what have you been up to, Lezlie?
Since last week.
Yeah.
Well, since last week, I don't think so did I tell you that I was just asked to do a concert in Austria playing the music of Frank Zappa?
Yes.
A big band.
That's outstanding.
So
very impressive.
So I'm going back in the spring. I was just in Austria doing a Black Lives Matter concert with a big band singing the music of Nina Simone, Horace Silver. I have that. I have a house song coming out soon. A house jam, a sure enough house tune by I guess I could say it now, but I better hold off because because
why should we?
The lawyers met today, so let me just wait. But it's pretty big. And then I'm going to record a record in June that Jeremy Pelt is going to produce for this Corey Weeds label that just came about. So I'm kind of things are happening. Yeah.
Good. Now all we need to do is get rid of the COVID once and for all, because you can't take the stop and start.
You have to remind me.
The stop and start thing is very torturous because we were almost back.
Yeah, right now I have gigs and I'm thinking, okay, suddenly, but just as easy as they come, they go just as fast because there's another variant, I'm sure, that's right behind this one.
Well, there's going to be variants now till the end of time. I don't think it's ever totally going to go away. I think, people say that when you get a cold nowadays, you are still getting the 1918 Spanish flu. Wow. What happens is over time, it weakens and weakens and weakens. That's what happens, but you're still getting a version of that. It never really goes away. So this will be the same thing. Hopefully we don't have a brutal one like the one right before this. That was the really bad one. The variant.
Yeah, well, look, as long as I can work, I'm good.
Right. You're talking about that you have these gigs lining up, and for artists, it's always, you don't really want to say anything because the gig never is until the check comes in or you're there. But we watched, I think it's The Making of John Coltrane last night, the documentary on him, and it took him a while to get it together. And I think that we're not around a lot of legends that help us to learn. This takes time. When you think of vocalists that it took time to get the right songs. It takes support to have somebody. When you want to get a band, you got to have people that's willing to work with you. Sometimes just on the door money if you don't have the money to pay them. For yourself, do you notice as you've gotten older, your work has come to fruition more?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to I can see the growth. I can see my journey very clearly. I give props to every stop along the way to get me to where I am. And it was a lot of work. And I did have encouragement along the way. You know, you surround yourself. I learned this. You surround yourself with people who will encourage you by their deeds, by their craft, you know, by their words, and then you know you're checking people out who you know. Okay, I want to follow that path. You know, in Buddhism, it's about following your path and staying true to your path and staying, you know, just being correct in your actions. And I'll share my journey too with young people. You know, if they ask, or even if they don't, you know, sometimes you got to pull somebody and say, "Hey, you know, I see some potential in you," like someone did for me, and or say like, "Yeah, that line was fucked up. Whatever you just sang, you thought that was good. That shit was." Grady Tate like totally checked me. I thought I was doing some shit. And you know, he had been like mentoring me, and he would come out and see me, and I was like, "Yo, yeah." He was waiting for me when I got off the stage to say, like, "What was that?" I was like, "You know what that was?" You know, whatever I said. He was like, "Yeah, sing the melody." That wasn't the melody. Only Nina Simone can sing that melody. It was her song, "Love Me or Leave Me." It's not her song, but you know, I learned it by singing it. Honey, I learned very quickly, like, oh, you can get checked, and you should heed the check.
I had a voice teacher, Edward Bolton, and the first song he gave me was Tenderly. And I sang that song. And at that point, I love Shaka Khan. And he's a little old man. He goes, "First of all, you don't have a voice like Shaka." By the time he finished, I went from here to down to here.
You knew you were singing, right?
Yeah, he's like, "No, you sound terrible. That is not your voice. You don't have that kind of voice. That's not who you are." And he goes, "You know what? Learn the song. Learn the song. This is not." And it was valuable because if you're going to take a song and tweak it and play with it, you better have the chops to do that shit.
Right. You better know the song, but also you have to make it your own song. You have to like, you know the meaning. And, you know, Shaka sang it that way because, you know, that's how she came to the table that day.
Yeah.
You know, it's really about how you tell the story, you know, especially when you're singing a song or anything you do, you have to bring some of or all of yourself to make it come to life, you know.
There's many factors. There's also the idea, like as a Buddhist, also the concept of karma. And there's this thought that if you don't have the karma for something to happen, it's not going to happen. You had to create the cause in previous lives or in this, however you want to look at it, but you had to create it. If it doesn't happen, it's because you didn't actually have the karma for it to happen. And a lot of times people don't like to hear that. They feel like they've had bad luck or, you know, why. For example, here's a perfect example. I'll bring it right into today. You know, we just it was just kind of, Whoopi Goldberg went on the air the other day. And
oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Something, you know, that got her in a lot of trouble. And today she got suspended by ABC. So for many, many years, when we would perform together, people would say that Naima reminds them of Whoopi Goldberg. And that would drive Naima crazy. People would say she looks like Whoopi Goldberg. She's a comedian like Whoopi Goldberg. We started
about the same time. Of one person show.
Right. So the point being that Whoopi Goldberg got discovered by Mike Nichols. He walked into a theater and she was doing her show. And that was her moment for her to have that experience. My point being that there's a lot of people who are very talented. Sometimes you become successful and sometimes you don't. It's not really based on just on talent. A lot of things have to come together, like the stars have to come together for you. You know, otherwise it's just not going to happen for you. Because I know a lot of talented jazz musicians, even in jazz. Some people were really great players through the years and they remain sidemen. They never really were able to take that.
Well, in that movie, Wynton Marsalis heard John Coltrane's playing when he was in the Navy, was it? I think he was in the Navy. Anyway, he said, you didn't hear this and think, "Oh, this guy's going to be great." It took John Coltrane many, many years to find the sound, the feel, all of that. You know, he had to go through drugs. He had to get fired until he found his sound. And what's interesting is his spiritual life really propelled him to explore Eastern music and all kinds of stuff.
And then he died very young. He still died very young. So, you know, but I have a couple of other questions for you because I remember this from last week. So I would like to bring this back. Because we don't have the show from last week because you didn't.
Well, you just go ahead and ask her.
It. So you did slide something in last week that you were late to the interracial dating game. You said until like a long time in, you were 100% on the brothers. There was
definitely on the brothers.
So you had no interest at all in other races. And how old were you as that moved along?
Oh, well, I was already on the jazz scene, and so I saw quite a lot of interracial. And, I'm a child of the 70s, like, though my mother dated white men, I was like, no, I was down with the brothers. And then, I get on the jazz scene, all the brothers going out with the white chicks. We're like, well, that's how. And then I had white men hitting on me, but I'm like, yeah, no, I want a brother. But I wasn't really finding a brother at that time. And, well, it took me going to Paris. Though I did date a couple of brothers before I moved to Paris. He was Art Blakey's road manager. Young cat from the south of, he was like on the French-German border.
I remember that.
Danielle, yeah. Danielle.
He died.
Yeah, he was.
He died really young.
He died of an overdose, yeah.
I don't want to get into, he was trying to run with certain people that were probably not a great idea.
Yeah,
I was working at Sweet Baby.
He came over here, thinking we were going to get together. He was working with Boo.
I didn't know that.
And he was my entree into the white world.
Oh, wow.
Danielle.
Danielle.
Did you ever used to go to the Tree of Life on 125th Street with the brothers there? It was a bookstore on 125th Street. Yeah, that's when I would go there and see other brothers in the dashikis.
I would be when Harlem was black. I remember I dated a guy who worked at Florsheim's Shoes on 125th Street. What's it, Florsheim's? Yeah. So I had some brothers, but
he had a foot fetish. Every man the guy that worked in the shoe store. If you work in a shoe store, you definitely have a foot fetish.
No, this guy had a fetish. No, this cat had a fetish for the honeymooners. Oh my God!
The show.
No, because I'm always
word for word. Yeah, that was very short lived, and it goes to my point. I told you I used to like really big guys. I remember I was telling you about my crush on the cat from the Fifth Dimension. Yeah, this guy was rotund like him, and that might have been my last rotundness. Maybe one more after that.
Yeah.
So you moved off. You were black and rotund at one time, and then you killed some European guy who came over here.
Yeah.
Probably everybody
told his mother, "I'm leaving for Lezlie."
Everybody back there.
Well, he really
killed him. He had this black woman in New York, and she killed him.
And the thing was, Boo Hainer was telling him, yeah, you come to New York, I'll put you up in my apartment. You come and Lezlie will live with you. That's when he was living in that 666 building over there on Washington Street. So, he was thinking, I'm going to come to New York. I'm going to...
I definitely remember when he came because he replaced...
I was already with Dale.
Wow. So you'd already made the white move.
Yeah. I had done, hallelujah.
Now you don't have to answer this. It's not even about, but how about Jews? Have you ever found, have you ever said to yourself, man, I need a Hebrew national salami. This will bring me joy. A Hebrew national salami on a nice with some mustard, a little ghoul.
And some sauerkraut.
See, Lezlie, when I grew up,
she put mayonnaise
whites
on a
were
hot
just
dog.
Whites.
What?
She put mayonnaise on a hot dog.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm not judging because my mother, who grew up in the South, would put mayonnaise on fish, fried fish.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Mayonnaise on broccoli.
Yeah, salt on the watermelon.
Yeah, but mayonnaise is not kosher. You can't put meat and not kosher together. I'm a very religious man.
Yeah.
So she made me a hot dog with mayonnaise on it. I was like, this is.
I can tell how Southern your family was. Did your family eat Argo starch?
No, they didn't eat it. No, not my family was very bougie. They used it for ironing.
But do you know black folks used to eat Argo starch?
Yeah, I knew some young. I never knew I knew people who they were the same peoples in my eyes who had the spittoon on the porch and chewed tobacco.
Yeah, snuff.
The snuff. But what did the starch do? I never got the point of the starch.
I don't know. I remember tasting it when I was a kid.
They eat starch.
Yeah,
it's some kind of a mineral or something.
It was blue and white in my mouth.
I remember the blue and white. I remember it was before the spray. Damn, have I been around that long? Before you could have the Niagara spray to start you make this little paste with that, and you put it in, my stepmother would put it in you put it in the refrigerator. Oh, this is a whole long thing. I don't remember, but
so
yeah, I'm Southern like that. I come from some bougie Negroes though.
When you grew up, were you Methodist or Baptist?
Oh, okay. So I told you, I'm sorry. So my father was of West Indian descent. So his parents were here in New York, and I was Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I hung out with all my West Indian family, Catholic. My mother's father was a Methodist preacher in North Carolina, and he wasn't really feeling her being here in New York. So he drove up. He and my grandmother were all prim and proper. And they came to fetch us. I came home from school and my grandparents were there. My grandmother always wore gloves. She had a little pocketbook. And we were leaving that night to go to North Carolina. And so and then we were I was baptized with my brothers in the Methodist church by my grandfather. And that's where my love of the music comes from, and the love of the music from the church, and the love of music, period. Not so much the church message. But
yeah. Well, my mother's church burnt down, and then everybody went to the Methodist, but then they built the church back up. And for my mother, the Methodist music wasn't moving enough for her.
She was Baptist, your mother?
Yeah. She called him Baptist on the line of sanctified. So she's like, they were too
when I went to
proper.
church there, like those ladies in the white outfits.
Oh yeah,
like
the ushers.
Ushers.
Yeah,
the ushers.
They're like Nazi school guards. You are going to behave.
Yeah.
You need a napkin? That's right. They walk with that one hand behind the back.
You don't sit where you want to sit.
Well, just sit. No,
Some serious S&M shit going on with those.
And my mother was called
outfits.
Mother English, so she had that title. And I would be like, oh God.
So let me just tell Lezlie this because she just said her family is West Indian.
Yes.
When my mother-in-law got sick, I would go visit her a lot. She had a stroke and she was in a nursing home for over a year, right, in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And whenever I would go there, I would be watching, and I noticed that most of the women who worked there were West Indian women. And my mother-in-law was this cute old Black lady. Like everybody in the hospital loved her.
She was good at manipulating people to take care of her.
She was very good. But I started noticing that these Black West Indian nurses were nicer to Black patients. They would be more abrupt, let me say, with white patients. So I started thinking about that, which white people should be tortured and killed for all the things that we've done. It's not like Black people owe us any favors, but I started thinking this sucks.
You would be correct.
Because what happens if she dies before me? I'm going to be in a nursing home. None of the nurses are going to know that I was married to a Black woman. And I always make that thing. I married a Black woman. I haven't dated her, lived with her, and sinned for 35 years. I married her. And I should get some benefit. So I'm thinking if she drops dead before me, I'm in the nursing home by myself, just an old white,
they're gonna kick your ass out because you were with a Black woman.
No, but I figured it out. I tattooed on my ass, married to Black woman. Please clean. Please
now,
clean
Lezlie, he can't take an ounce of pain, okay? So he ain't got shit tattooed.
No tattoos happening.
No, I don't have no tattoos. I'm not into that.
No.
She tried to
tattoo. But you could get like a medallion or a pendant or something,
He can't wear jewelry.
She was going to tattoo her name, Naima, on my penis, but we'll get into what happened there.
It wasn't enough space.
We had to just use an N. It was like the whole thing was, it was.
So your the new CD that you're doing, have you ever thought of doing a video?
Well, this just came about. I'm going to, and it's going to be done at Rudy Van Gelder's studio, which I'm really happy about. Yeah, that's like a dream come true. And I would definitely want to put that on, and I hope that we can work it out where I can have a video, because Now you got to have everything, the visuals, the audio.
But your visuals are so amazing. Even when you put up photos of yourself on Facebook, just photos, you are like, you're an amazingly stunning, charismatic. You take great pictures is basically what I'm trying to say. You really do. They're always like stunning.
Like I see your images and like sometimes you're not doing a damn thing.
She doesn't have to. She just whips that shoulder out. Look at her. She's moving them shoulders right now. She knows that.
During the pandemic, I decided, because I was doing my record, I was trying to put my record out, and the money and the plan that I had before this pandemic hit was that I was going to have a photographer. I was going to do this photo shoot up in Rhode Island, and I had an art director, and she is one of my best friends, Valicia, and she said, you know what? You take pretty good. Take some selfies. Give me about 12 selfies, and she'll do the album cover. So I took about 3 months. I took my Samsung Galaxy Note. I bought a tripod, and I just started, playing with light and my own. I sit for so many photographers. I kind of got it, and I've been having fun taking selfies. Yesterday I was sitting here. I was on a meeting 2 days ago, and the sun was coming through, and I'm like, "Oh, that looks good." I grabbed my phone. And then I had a photo, I had the whole photo shoot of myself, just me in the sun. So it's just kind of interesting, I'm not just sitting here taking photos of myself all the time, but I've done it for other people for nothing.
Right.
And, it's kind of like playing with playing with my own self-image.
I've seen painters paint your image, which is really powerful.
Yeah, no, I've gotten some great artwork. I mean, I'm glad to be like, be that person,
Absolutely. Well, you can thank your daddy for your height, because your daddy was...
Thank my daddy for my height.
Yeah.
How was
my mother a little bit for my attitude, but I'm really my grandmother's child.
Who had the shoulders, though? Where did you get those shoulders from? Was that from mom or dad?
I would say these are from my dad's side of the family.
Because they are outstanding. 57% of men, especially white men over 50, get a boner when they see her shoulders. She doesn't have to look at that. She just moves them. Look at that movement. I know. How do you do your shoulders first?
Oh, it feels good though. Oh, because
your shoulder is like half the size of her shoulder. Look at her shoulder. Your shoulder. Look at your shoulder. You have like some.
You didn't even see it.
Look at that. Oh, and she's showing off. Oh man.
Fuck you.
How you doing, honey? Mae West got nothing on me.
No.
Yeah, I just started training.
You know that Mae West was in the prison? It's now a library on 6th Avenue in Greenwich Village.
Oh, yeah.
She was in that prison, Mae West, at one time. That was the women's house of detention,
I remember. I knew that's what it was. I mean, now, how about that? It's a library, New York Public Library.
So you said you're in training. What are you doing?
Well, you all can't see because I'm sitting down. The pandemic, I put on a lot of weight, like a lot of us did. Mm-hmm. And I just, I'm 61, about to be 62. And this is a dear friend of mine who's a trainer, Deary Prude, and he has a wonderful fitness company. And he's been saying, come see me for years. I've done things, and he's like, come see me, I got you. So I decided that I wanted to, I just went through a whole transition of my life, and I want to see something new. And I want my body to be, I don't want it to be like it was when I was in my 20s. I want it to be fit for my 60s.
Absolutely.
And I need to, I want to, just feel more comfortable and not sore. It's like I feel, and having not being so active these days. So for me, I had a membership at the gym. I had that purple gym thing.
I hate that gym. Planet Hollywood?
Yeah, Planet Fitness. I had the Planet Fitness.
That shit.
I went, but it's like I need somebody. When I went, I was adamant about it, and then and I had the black card. But I need somebody to really tailor and help me deal with fitness and nutrition. Right. And I'm a vegan. I've been a vegan now for about 5 years. But what am I missing nutritionally as a vegan? And I know I like my wine and my whiskey. And
unfortunately, wine and whiskey doesn't build muscles. I was always
doesn't build muscles.
Really, God was really not cool. Why couldn't chocolate have been the thing that made your muscles grow? Why does it have to be a shitty thing? But you have a lot of potential with your body. Yeah. We went the opposite route of everybody during the corona. We both lost a lot of weight. We're really much thinner than I am thinner than I've ever been.
How did that happen? You just didn't go out?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was totally paranoid.
Fucking fear.
You know, I was being.
I'll starve before I go out.
Fear.
Right. Because I'm thinking all the delivery drivers we're going to deliberately give you the corona because they had to work while everybody else was hiding inside.
Fear, Lezlie.
So I had a lot of fear. And as I've gotten older.
So how did you all eat?
We ate, but I that wasn't an important thing to me during that.
Well, she took salt out of her diet.
And that's what happened for me.
When you take salt out of your diet, you will definitely.
I'm to the point now that, if I make something in it because what I realized was I was getting no sodium in my diet, and you need sodium.
You need some sodium.
You need some sodium, but I don't use salt at all.
She changed her whole eating
and
style.
I don't have any caffeine in the morning. I have hot lemon. I put a little pepper in it and honey and hot water. Oatmeal with raspberries and blueberries. And as I've gotten older, I just don't eat as much.
Yeah, we both lost a considerable amount of weight.
I don't really know why. And what I do know is I was around people who drank a lot of wine, and I never realized I was drinking so much wine. I mean, these guys, I called them my gay parents. Like, we'd go to cocktails before dinner, cocktails with dinner,
people always
cocktails after dinner. I never did that before, but
like wine and beer are not drinking.
Puffy.
They're not drinking.
I was fucking puffy.
I know guys like, I won't mention his name.
I was like, what the hell is going on here, Lezlie?
That would be me.
I know a bartender, he's
so I had
named Cho, who would have like 12 beers and say, I'm not even drinking tonight. I'm not drinking. I had 12 beers. I'm not even drinking.
So I had to look
Cho,
at
you
that.
had most people be crawling out of the bar after 12 beers. That is drinking. It is wine and beer are drinks.
I had to look at that. And so, as you get older, your body changes.
Yes. Remember, I used to be this big.
Yeah.
Now, during COVID, I got up to 210, 15 pounds. Yeah.
Oh.
But you know what? These goddamn apps. I had an app to deliver liquor. I had a food delivery. I had groceries delivered. And I'm a vegan. I was cooking vegan meals, but I was drinking bourbon like all day long. We were having Zoom cocktails. I have about thousands of friends, and everybody had a Zoom cocktail on Monday, Tuesday.
Yes.
All right, give it a lightning round questions.
Okay. All right. Whose style do you prefer? Erykah Badu or Rihanna?
Damn. Well, Rihanna.
Diana.
Rihanna's having a baby. Did you know that?
Yeah, by somebody with
ASCAP, I think his name is.
Oh, ASCAP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very rich baby.
Very rich fucking.
Just imagine because Rihanna.
ASAP Rocky is his name. ASAP.
Yeah. ASAP.
Rihanna
still don't know who he is, but I know that tidbit of information.
She makes more money than anyone in show business today. Rihanna is the most successful person in the entertainment industry. So she's a billionaire. She's a $1 billion. So I was just thinking, like, that baby has no idea yet that they're going to be a billionaire. They're going to be born a billionaire. They're going to crawl out of a billionaire's coochie. And that's the thing. If you want to be very successful in life, you got to come out of the right coochie. There's nothing more important than that. You could be a moron the rest of your life, but if your head comes out of the right coochie, you can grow up to go to Yale, to Harvard, to be a president of the United States. Lots of things happen for you. Yes.
Yeah, money.
Mary J. Blige or Beyonce?
Oh, you mean style?
Style.
Oh, ooh. Beyonce. Oh, that's hard, girl.
I know.
You got to go for Mary J. Mary J. Yeah, she got New York, Harlem.
She loves. I saw an interview. Boots that come up high.
Oh yes, she looks good in them too.
Can't help them.
She can dance in them too.
Loves those boots.
I'm gonna get her in trouble now. I'm gonna get you in trouble.
Thigh highs.
I remember your answer from last week, so I'm gonna mess around with you a little bit.
What?
Her, not you.
Okay.
I'm gonna mess with her. Who has a sexier of male's voice? Frankie Crocker or James Brown?
Oh, damn. Hold on.
Frankie Crocker or Mr. James Brown?
I love James Brown. But Frankie Crocker, I grew up with Frankie Crocker.
Yeah.
James Brown has a very good voice, though.
Don't tell James.
Yeah.
James has a very sexy. James, if it was up to me, I know that really must matter to you a lot, but I think your voice is equally sexy to Frankie Crocker.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes. If you had a pair of shoes that you really loved and they were too small, and you had a show you're getting ready to do, and these shoes really look great with this outfit, and you had a pair of shoes that which would you wear? Now the other ones are like expensive and gorgeous, but they're one size too small.
Well, having done this already, it's not a good feeling. I would wear, of course, I had a pair of sexy blue suede pumps. They were sexy. I wore them. I was supposed to wear them all night. It was New Year's Eve. I kicked them off. I couldn't wear them anymore. So given that, I would probably, knowing that now, I would go for the less slightly sexy shoe and then go for the more comfortable one, because ain't nothing like your feet hurting.
Yeah, I agree.
That is torturous. You can't think of anything else. I was trying to dance on the stage. It was New Year's Eve. I was in a hotel in Bangkok. I went up to my room at the break, found another pair of shoes. Oh my God, it was the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
And I used to wear shoes that were small.
Yeah.
They didn't make them in size 11.
No, you can't now. You can't.
I'm a 13, by the way. I wear a size 13 shoe.
Okay, let me finish the
I have a question for her.
Go ahead.
I have a question. Better game show host, Richard Dawson or Steve Harvey?
Oh, Steve Harvey.
Okay. I don't remember Richard Dawson.
Yeah, he was the host of
game show
the Steve Harvey.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's a British guy. Was always kind of
yeah. He always looked like Richard Dawson. Always looked like he was like hungover.
Yeah,
he always
rolled out of bed.
Yeah.
He was on Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Hogan's Heroes. He was on that show, and that's a weird show. You know the actor Bob Crane. Did you ever hear what happened to that guy?
No.
The guy who played Hogan. He was a sex deviant, and there's a movie about him. He was murdered it was some weird sex cult. He was in like a sex cult, and I forget the name of the movie. I'm not a great newsman unless I have my glasses on. I should have this information, but I'm just just winging it.
Okay.
And look how quickly you jumped in.
Okay, let me finish with her.
I want to bring that up. No, people love when we argue. You have to go for it.
No one loves that.
People do love that.
Okay.
Oh,
living single or good times?
Oh, damn. Okay, well, during COVID, I watched a lot of Good Times. I mean, during COVID, but the height of the pandemic, I was watching a lot of.
But isn't Jimmy J.J. Walker one of those guys who's is that he was from Good Times, right?
Yeah.
He's one of these reverse mortgage guys, like selling.
No, he's not reverse mortgage. He is get your Medicare.
Medicare. Yeah.
I get really pissed off if you made millions of dollars in your career and you're doing those commercials.
That's because you're not making millions of dollars in your career.
And you blew all your money. You blew your money. And now you're stealing.
Joe Namath does it.
Don't hate.
It's not that I hate. It's like you're stealing from old people.
Hey, I gotta eat.
You ever seen those commercials when there's like 100 words on the bottom of the screen? If you have words at the bottom of your screen in a commercial, know that it's gangsters. No one has a whole page of words. Listen.
It's the same as those people who say when you want to, this can cause, death of whatever. You lose an eyeball, you can roll over.
Okay, I got one.
You lose a foot.
I mentioned this one before, but their styles I think are more Erykah Badu or Lisa. I just said I mentioned her
with all the people
Erykah Badu because
when I
say her name,
see, I'm going to force her into the fight.
Erykah Badu or Lisa Bonet.
Oh man.
Lisa Bonet. Erykah's a little over the top for me, but I love her music. But like,
did you see the
she's
video?
Boho to the nth degree.
Yeah,
when she got naked walking down the street, Erykah Badu. Have you ever
But didn't she do a video?
Yeah. Would you, if one of the producers got you a really great deal in the video, but said you had to show your breasts, would you?
Oh yeah. I modeled nude for art classes in Paris and New York.
Really?
I did one of my very first photo shoots was for Charles Jourdain. It was a huge campaign. It was called Heaven and Earth. I have the heaven part at home. It's a full length of me lying out on this beautiful tapestry. And there was a
Wow.
milky white woman who was Earth. I mean, was heaven. And it was a campaign they did in Japan. Was not one shoe in the ad. It was for Charles Jourdain.
Wow.
And I was butt naked. And I'm sure I was coming from Sweet Basil's the night before, hanging out late. I remember having like, oh my God, why did I say I do this photo? But it was my first big paying photo shoot. It was in a loft before they were even lofts down in Tribeca. They were still like just run down
Wow.
old spaces that my friend had access to because of the light.
Butt
Wow.
Wow. So did you hear about the bombing, so-called Black colleges that were getting information?
I heard something
Bombed.
about, I have not been listening to a lot of news, but I had on WBGO earlier this morning and I heard something on NPR that it was some things were closed down yesterday or there was some threats yesterday.
Right.
It's
right.
basically like, I think it was 15 Black colleges, all
Yeah.
threats that they were going to be
Yeah.
bombs. And this is,
I'm not shocked. I
They
think we
sent
should
the
all be
students-
vigilant.
notices at like 4 a.m, telling people don't leave the building. There's a
Like I
bomb-
was going
But
to.
there's a bomb in the building. Don't leave the building.
Don't need to
You know what?
Yes,
Don't
this is
send me a
dumber.
text then at 4 a.m, because I'm getting the fuck out of the building. If you're telling me there's a bomb in the building,
Yeah.
I'm leaving. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, don't leave.
Yes.
this is the worst time in my lifetime about race relations. We are.
They had a Nazi parade in some town in some major city in Florida, I think, recently.
It's pretty brutal right now.
Florida's too weird for me.
The end of it not only wasn't the end of racial division when Obama won, it just seemed like it released all this hatred. The follow-up with Trump coming right after that.
That black man shook a whole lot of people.
Obviously.
White people lost their damn minds. They're like, oh, y'all gonna get Obama? We're gonna bring they brought in the dumbest of the dumbest.
Yes.
It's really amazing.
Most dangerous of
and
the
we're in
most
a
dangerous.
bad state. We could be, there's a very good chance that by 2024, the United States will know. We were never a democracy, by the way, because a democracy means whoever has the most votes should win. It was always set up not to be a democracy, to make sure that Black people had this is all, if you're a senator from Montana, you have the same power as a senator from New York, even though no one lives in Montana. It's all the red states. And it's just a horrible, horrible time. So we have to close this on.
I know.
So why don't you do it? Because I usually do it. I did it last week. Tell Lezlie what we need from her and what we're going to do with her.
Okay.
Okay. Because I usually say it.
Okay.
What we're gonna
Well,
do
Lezlie, because of the world and how things are, the show that we're doing now, we call it Epstein and Hassan, Dirty Truth Tellers, and we say we're having a menage a trois.
Right.
And so we're having a menage a trois with you. We can't physically touch each other anymore. So in our minds, we're going to bring you and your shoulders and all of that. And if you want to think about us, just imagine me being your height, okay?
That give might her take your shoulders.
No, come on. No.
You'd love those shoulders. Look at those shoulders. Look how wide they are.
You don't want her to. I'd rather have her shoulders than mine.
No, that's what I'm saying. In the fantasy.
Imagine, hello, I'm doing me how I want her to see me. Yeah. I want her to see me taller.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And him with muscles. Like, I know that's a contradiction. Epstein with muscles. If you could imagine that.
Yes. Because we're going to be you see, her fantasy was just so boring.
Oh, and yours is so much better.
Yeah, let me do it right now.
Okay,
I'm going to give it to you right now.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The naked photos that she took back after a night at Sweet Basil, we're going to have those photos all over the world. We're going to have all kinds of Lezlie photos. Lezlie very skinny, Lezlie COVID.
Yes,
we're going to have Lezlie in every...
With the mic in her mouth.
With a mic in her mouth, going, bring, the French guy that she killed that came over here.
This is my microphone, just so you know.
Wow.
You have a big head on your microphone. I noticed that. The head is important.
Just so you know.
The head is important.
That's what you use when you do the radio show? That one?
I do. That's what, there's actually this kind of everybody who's doing, this is a Yeti. This is a very good microphone, by the way, Yeti. It's for internet use.
You don't need earphones?
Yeah, the earphones plug directly into it, but I don't need them now because I don't need to, as long as you can hear me, I can, but when I'm recording on air, I have my headphones on. But
have you can hear me fine, People ever call you during your show and try to talk dirty to you on the air?
Oh, when I did the overnights at WBGO back in early days? Oh my God. Yeah. And the thing was, you would have people who want to come meet you after I'll pick you up. What do you look like? I would always be a little shorter, a whole lot shorter, and a lot bigger. So when I walk out of the studio, they didn't really know because I would get off the air at 6 o'clock in the morning. No, that's the beauty of radio. You're supposed to just imagine. Sometimes you don't want to see who's on the other end of it.
Yes. I used to do answering services, and I dated a lot of people on there. I actually met this guy at Jason's.
Remember answering services? Even when you're saying that, it's kind of like...
Yeah, shit. I remember I used to call my answering service to get my messages.
I was sitting at the bar waiting for him, and he came in and act like he was using the phone and fucking left.
Damn! Wait a minute. You had set up that date already with him?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. When he saw it was her.
It's like what people do now with online dating.
Yeah.
You go and say, "Well, let's meet for coffee." You walk in and you go like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
This
I haven't done that, but somebody did that to you?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
This woman is a friend of mine. She's on Match.com. She tells me that every guy in their profile calls themselves a widower that has daughters. That's the selling point. They don't want you to think they're divorced, right? So they say they're a widower because that's sort of not your fault, But they also always mention that they have like 2 daughters so that you're going to think they're not a pervert. Yet every single guy on those sites, all they want is action. Especially if you're over 50 years old, that they want sex with you. They're not looking for
Lezlie. This is my.
I haven't gone down that road yet. I'm still kind of like.
This is my last question.
Wait one second. I want to ask her. Could I follow up?
Okay, I'm following up. There's a guy. He's 28 years old. He has a nice job. Very attractive. He's into you. And then there's a man who is your age. He's not making as much money as the 28-year-old. Who do you go with? You like them both.
Well, that's kind of that vague setup. I would probably go with the guy who was older and not a lot of money, but you didn't say he was broke.
No, he's not broke. No, he's not
broke. So I'd go with the guy because we have a little bit more in common. A 28-year-old probably can rock my world for a little bit, but And
that little bit is worth it. Let's stop bullshitting. Let's stop bullshitting. No. I'm going to bring back a guy who used to meet me in the kitchen at Sweet Rhythm. You remember that guy? He was a young, handsome black guy. He would be dropping something off for me. And I would meet him in the kitchen. He was like 20.
Oh yeah, the fine guy.
Okay, I remember.
Well, he was 28.
He was around 28 in at that time.
I think he might have called me at one point, but nothing happened.
But it was fun because whenever he would meet me there, we have to go fix something in the kitchen, and he'd walk past, and you would forget your lyrics. You'd be like, "Oh."
Oh yeah.
Look, but that don't mean shit.
Well, you can look, but go out on a date and like have a.
I don't forget that kind of shit though. That's the scary part.
Like, well, look, I was a lot younger then too. I was closer to 30 than I was to 60.
Yeah, wow. Exactly.
And now that just is eye candy for me. I'm flattered when somebody younger hits on me.
It's too many baggage.
Where's your father? Where's your older brother, uncle?
I love that. Like, if anything, God forbid, ever happened to you, which would be the worst thing that could. Yes. I mean, but if you drop dead, I would just go on stage and just start my show like this. I'd say, listen, I know this is very unlikely, but is there a young woman in this room that actually has a grandpa fantasy that all your life you've wanted a Jew who has balls on the floor and can hardly breathe when he goes down and you have to bring asthma spray? But has that been your fantasy? And I bet you there is always one person that is their fantasy. That's the thing. Is someone for everybody. It really is.
I totally agree. I'm not there yet.
Yes.
So Lezlie, we didn't tell you this, but we'll be bringing you back again next week. This was all a scam to get you to be
I'm looking at recording right now.
You could be like a weekly guest. You're a pro.
Yeah. Hey.
You did a great job.
Bring me on.
Which show is better?
Then I got to start looking for outfits to wear for the show my shoulders.
Both great.
Which show was better though, the first one or the second one?
Oh, they were both great.
Okay.
Thank you. She knows.
The first one was so much funnier. Plus, Lezlie got naked and you got naked. It was just unbelievable.
How much acid were you taking?
I was taking a little acid.
Okay.
Just a drop.
Lezlie, we love you.
Is there still acid out there? No.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding? There's great acid now. The acid now is really good. From what I hear,
you all a little too enthusiastic for me right now. I'm kind of wondering what's up with you all.
2 years indoors.
That's why we're not gaining no weight.
Right. We're not getting any weight because we the blow. We didn't want to say it on the air.
Yeah.
We spent the whole time doing cocaine.
Yes, looking like this.
As a matter of fact, our cocaine delivery man moved in with us during the time.
We'll be right there, okay?
I'm not high.
We love you, Lezlie.
The great Lezlie Harrison.
Yes. All the best to you.
I love you all. Hey, see you next week.
Next Wednesday, we'll be here.
And I know you all need something from me, so I got it for you.
Thank you.
Bye.